Welcome, travelers, to my realm of nightmares. Allow me to be your personal assistant. Come in, take a seat, get comfortable. For when you step into my realm, there's no stepping out.
Hello, travelers. PA Nightmares here. I've noticed that over 30% of my viewers are not subscribed to the channel. So, if you're a new or a returning viewer and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you like what I do, liking the video and commenting as well, as it really helps push this video into the algorithm and it really does help the channel grow. Well, I've taken enough of your time. On to the main event. Alright, so things have been kind of slow this week. I'm guessing Carl figured we needed more of a break based on the fact that our drills haven't been as intense. Now, from where I left off, we were dealing with a major issue. "Carl, we can't stay on the road in this thing," I said. He groaned in response. I know, Pete. It's a damn shame, though. I've had this car since I was 16. I'm gonna hate to see it go." Despite us not being aware that Carl was that fond of his car until then, we still felt bad for him. Unfortunately, we just didn't have time to get it repaired. On top of that, the cost would have probably ended up being more than just getting another car. "Oh well," Carl continued. "We better find a dealership before a cop pulls us over." It luckily didn't take us too long to find one. Although Carl managed to get a pretty good deal from selling his car, given its condition, the purchase of another car cost him a good bit. "I didn't think that would cost so much," he said as we were driving away from the dealership. "Is that going to be a big deal?" Nick asked him. "It might be." "I thought you were carrying all your money," I said. "No, I was carrying half of it. The other half is in my store safe." "Do we have enough money to reach where we're heading?" Carl didn't say anything for a moment, thinking the question over. "I should, but if we have a good chance to get more, I think we should take it." As it turned out, an opportunity would be arising for us soon. A little while later, we got hungry, so we decided to stop for some Mexican food. Not wanting to risk having anybody eavesdrop on us, we chose to eat outside. "Pete, why are you using a fork to eat your nachos?" Nick asked. A large plate of them sat in front of me. They were steak nachos with extra jalapenos, and I was having them with a glass of Dr. Pepper. Carl was having a plate of chicken enchiladas, and Nick was having some shrimp fajitas. The former had a bottle of beer served with his meal, and the latter had a glass of strawberry lemonade. "Because of this," I replied, lifting the bottom of my nachos to reveal plain chips. This happened to me a number of times at these kind of restaurants. They just dumped the toppings onto the chips, leaving the ones at the bottom untouched and plain. That's why I've sort of picked up the habit of folding them on top of each other whenever I get a plate, in order to try to make sure the chips get flavor. Still, it was a nice change of pace from convenience stores and snack machine food. As I was explaining my restaurant and nacho gripe to Nick, Carl spoke up. "Could we focus up, please?" he asked us, catching our attention. "Okay, so what should we discuss first?" "Why this shit keeps happening to us," I respond, referring to our paranormal experiences thus far. "We've been on the road for well over a month now, and each of these events happened to us a week apart," Nick said. "Maybe we're cursed." He took a bite of his fajita, then sipped his drink. "Yeah, that would be our luck, wouldn't it?" I said, putting a chip to my mouth. "It could just be a matter of distance, not timing," Carl pointed out. "How do you figure?" "Well, whenever they happened, we traveled around the same amount of distance. In order to confirm this, I think we need to test it." "Wouldn't that prove that they've only been happening to us when a certain condition is met, and not why they have?" Nick pointed out. "True, but at least we'd know. Anyways, I think we should move on to figuring out how to make up our financial setback." "I have my card on me. If the right bank is around here, I could withdraw all my money," I offered. "It wouldn't be worth the risk," Carl replied, shaking his head. Yeah, I figured. I just thought I'd put it out there. We bounced back ideas for a little while, none of which were viable, unfortunately. Having finished our food, we paid our bill and left. When we got back outside, we found a distraught-sounding woman having a phone call in the parking lot. I know that place is dangerous, but I don't know who else to turn to. You know I can't do this myself, so is there anyone you know that would be willing to help me? She let out a sigh, as the person on the other end of the call presumably gave her a disappointing answer. I understand. Thanks anyway. It was only after putting her phone in her purse did she notice us. Were you listening to that? She asked with a hint of annoyance. Eavesdroppers are so annoying. We weren't trying to, lady, I said defensively. If you didn't want anyone to hear you talking, you shouldn't have had a call outside. At that, her look of irritation faded into one of guilt. You're right. I'm sorry. I've been under a lot of stress lately. It's alright. What exactly has you worried? Well, this is going to sound really strange, I know, but would you three consider yourselves paranormal investigators? We exchanged a look with each other. Heh, kinda, I replied. Her eyes lit up at that. Oh, good! Then maybe you'll be able to help me, she said, getting noticeably more excited, until she stopped herself and began inhaling and exhaling deeply. Are you okay? Nick asked. I'm fine. I just have to make sure I don't get too excited. Heart condition. Anyway, do you guys think you can help? With what exactly? Carl said. My dog ran off. Sorry to hear that. What does that have to do with the paranormal, though? Because of where she ran off to. Well, we'd love to help, but we have to get going. We started to leave when she spoke up again. Wait! I will pay you! Actually, we may be able to stay for a little bit after all, Carl told her. Through getting acquainted, we learned that her name was Mindy. Apparently, her dog got lost in a trailer park, reported to be haunted. How do you know for sure it is? Carl inquired. Because of the disappearances. She explained that one night 20 years ago, all the residents of the trailer park went missing. None of their things were gone, they just seemed to have vanished into thin air. Over the years, a number of curious kids would try to explore it and ended up missing themselves, and so would their parents and search parties who tried looking for them. After that, people have just avoided the place altogether. I don't know why Zippy took off there. She never does anything like that and always stays by me. It was like she could hear something from there calling for her. We excused ourselves to discuss things. So what do you guys think? Carl asked. From what she's telling us, this could be dangerous. Yeah, but we could use the money, I said. Maybe we could get some supplies to help us out, Nick suggested. Good thinking, Carl told him. I'll have a talk about it with Mindy. What he told her is that we'd have to search tomorrow because we need to spend time getting prepped. She agreed to this and gave us the location of the trailer park. During that time, Carl replenished his salt sack, got some things that might help us, and I got some replacement crutches. They may have been from a thrift store, but they were still new to me. Aside from that, we also did some research. We found out that in addition to the disappearances, there were reports of strange noises coming from the park. Some people say they hear low moans while walking by it. Others say they hear what they describe as a static scream. What worried us the most is the last report we read. It said that someone heard the howling of a large beast coming from it, whose cries they didn't recognize. This place seemed to be the real deal. We just hoped we were prepared enough to deal with it. Why'd you have to tell her we'd be here so early? I muttered to Carl as we were driving to the trailer park. It was nearly 7. The sky was going from dark to bright as the rays from the rising sun were illuminating it. We're trying to get this done and leave as soon as we can. Here, have a rock star, Nick offered, extending a can to me. I downed the whole thing in a matter of seconds. Mindy pulled up in her car shortly later. By then, the caffeine from the drink was thankfully beginning to affect me. As we were getting out of the car, we caught a glimpse of the trailer park. For what we could see, it seemed to be pretty big. I brought some things that might help. From her car, she produced a dog cage, some dog treats, and squeaky toys, all of which seemed to be on the expensive side. Carl took the toys and treats, while Nick took the cage. Do you have any advice before we go in? I asked. I wish I did. Good luck. We went to the park's entrance, where a rusted sign that once presumably showed the park's name was lying flat on the ground, and on top of it was a toddler's sneaker. Oh yeah, that isn't off-putting in the slightest, Nick said. Well, we knew what we'd be getting into, Carl told him. Come on, hopefully this won't take too long. That was only the tip of the eerie iceberg that was this trailer park. Seeing people's things scattered about as if they vanished right in the middle of using them felt chillingly unnerving. Unfortunately, none of the items Mindy gave us seemed to be working. She did try them before. However, that was only at the entrance of the trailer park. This isn't working, I said. Her dog would be able to hear us by now, wouldn't she? Just keep your ass peeled, Carl replied, shaking the bag of treats and squeezing one of the toys. Here, Zippy. We spent a little while searching only to come up empty. Maybe she got into one of the trailers somehow, I said. Do you think any of them could have doggy doors installed? It's possible, Carl replied, but we wouldn't know which trailers do without checking each one. This is gonna take a lot longer than we thought, isn't it? Nick groaned. A search of the first trailer Zippy could have entered got us nothing. One down, like 30 more to go, Nick said. Man, I hope the others aren't as cluttered as this one, I told them. I could hardly get my footing with my crutches in here. Anyway, are we ready to search the next one? They replied that they were, and we proceeded to exit the trailer. However, upon opening the door, we were greeted with a starry night sky. I closed it, then turned to them. Did you guys see that too? They nodded wide-eyed. Okay, right now we can see sunlight coming through that window, I said, pointing to it. Therefore, opening this door again should show us that it's daytime outside. I mean, that seems like sound logic, right? It does, Carl replied. Yep, Nick concurred. Alright, so we're going to reopen this door and everything should be fine, I told them. Opening the door showed us the same thing. That doesn't make any goddamn sense, Nick said. You can still see the sunlight coming from this window, but it looks like it's night outside. Needless to say, this warranted some discussion. What the hell could be causing this? Some kind of time anomaly? I asked. Maybe we've gone to some kind of pocket dimension, Nick said. This must be what happened to the residents. At those words, a horrifying realization came over me. That means we're trapped here too now, I told them. Oh, fuck no. Who knows what could be waiting for us outside? There's probably monsters just waiting to rip us apart, or the ghost people who got trapped here. Pete, Nick, relax, Carl said, interrupting what was about to be a panic attack from us. What if we tried the window instead? Huh, yeah, I said, feeling relieved. Good thinking, Carl. Trying the window gave us the same results. Are you fucking kidding me? Nick yelled. We're trapped, I said. We're fucking trapped. There has to be some way out, Carl told us. How? I moved the window up and down to show him confirmation of the situation we were in. Seeing it half up with the window showing sunlight and the other part showing nighttime felt really bizarre. I'm not sure yet, he replied, but I know we won't find it by staying here. Alright then, I said. Let's cross our fingers and hope nothing is waiting to slaughter us when we get outside. With a turn of the knob and opening the door, we stepped into unfamiliar territory. One of the benefits of living out here is that it tends to be quiet. It is very relaxing and has a very nice contrast from what I've grown accustomed to for most of my life. What wasn't relaxing is what we found after leaving the trailer. Alright, so far so good, I said, surveying the area. Huh. Other than it being night, this place doesn't look any different from before. For now, but that could change soon, Carl told me. If Zippy's here, we can at least try finding her. Unlike previous times, shaking Zippy's bag of treats and squeezing her toys did produce results. However, they weren't exactly what we were hoping for. From out of the shadows appeared families whose skins were deathly pale under the moonlight. "Oh shit, ghosts!" I yelled. "Get back in the trailer!" We were about to when one of them spoke up. "Wait," a man said. "We're not ghosts, and we don't want to hurt you." "Yeah, and why should we trust you?" Carl asked. "What choice do you have? Just at least hear us out, okay?" Not really seeing any harm in it, we chose to listen to what they had to say. The men explained to us that one day everything was normal. Then there was a bright magenta flash, and they found themselves in an alternate dimension. "We don't know what caused it," he said. "It just sort of happened. All we know is that we're stuck here. Hey, what year was it when you guys came here?" 2019, Carl replied. 2019? Jesus Christ. We've been here for that long? It's hard to keep track of time in here. This place doesn't allow us to age. "That means we'll be stuck in here forever?" I said, feeling sick at the thought. Sorry if this question has an obvious answer, but have any of you tried, leaving the park? Of course we have. It won't let us. It's like there's an invisible wall around the park. Some have tried other ways of escaping with no success. Whatever injuries we get heal. If they're really bad, they take a while. They always do heal eventually though. Due to the shock of this information, Nick had to sit down, and I had to lean on the trailer in order to steady myself. Carl paced nervously back and forth. I've seen him do it before when he's deep in thought about something. "Well, if we're gonna be stuck in here, we might as well see if it's for nothing," Nick said. "Did any of y'all see a dog come through here?" "Actually, we did." "Was the dog's name Zippy?" He wrinkled his brow in concentration, trying to help himself remember, then nodded. "Yeah, she's a shy one. We haven't seen her in a while." "At least we can take solace in that," Nick said. "Now we just have to contend with the fact that this is where we'll be, presumably forever." "What is there around here anyway?" I asked the man. "We got our stuff, so we mostly spend time using it. Nothing different really happens except for when someone new shows up or the beast does." "The what now?" "We're not sure if it's an alien or demon or what. It comes around here sometimes and eats one of us, then spits whoever it ate out as a skeleton. Last time it picked me." "You, seem pretty nonchalant about something so horrifying." The man shrugged. You get used to it, but it always hurts." "Can't you hide from it?" "We try. Sometimes it works, but if it wants you, it will have you. Nothing works to stop it either, not even guns." For the sound of it, we're paddles of a creek with our hypothetical boat on the verge of capsizing. Carl, having listened to this conversation thus far, spoke up. "Hey, is it always night here?" Carl asked. "It is. Day never comes around." "That might mean the monster is more sensitive to light. Do any of you have powerful flashlights or anything similar?" "Not really. No, sorry. We do have flashlights, but I don't know if they'll do much good against it." "How big is it?" Usually, because of my immaturity, such a question would have made me snicker. At that moment, however, I found myself dreading the man's reply to that question. "It's tall, kinda thin, but it can do a lot of damage. Someone hand me a flashlight." A girl, who, judging by her features, was probably his daughter, gave him one. Using it, he illuminated a nearby trailer. "Christ," I said at the sight before us. Massive tears were in the trailer. The metal hung limply, as there were sheets of paper torn and discarded. If that didn't alarm us enough, there were also holes in the drywall. All of this had been made by something with extra sharp claws, as indicated by the hole's shape. "Well, we're fucked," I said flatly. "Don't give up yet," Carl told me. "There might be something we can do." "You mean like fight?" "Yeah, and then we'll be shredded to ribbons by this thing's claws." "Be quiet," the man said sharply. All the residents had the expression of just having heard the cry of a dangerous predator nearby. "Everyone hide." Most hid in trailers, others chose to hide underneath them. We chose the latter option and went underneath an occupied trailer with a family inside of it. Shortly after we did so, movement could be heard within the park. This thing sounded heavy. A scraping noise accompanied every thunderous step it took. Silence and luck were the key to survival here. Unfortunately for us, neither would be on our side. As it turned out, we weren't the only ones hiding underneath the trailer we picked. "Did you guys hear that?" Nick whispered. "Yeah, now that you mention it, I think I hear growling," I replied. "Carl, can we get a little light here?" Using a small pocket flashlight, Carl partially illuminated our hiding spot, revealing 4 small furry legs, a dog tag with the name Zippy engraved on it, and 2 triangle-shaped ears. "Oh no," he said. "She's a chihuahua." Her lips pulled back in a snarling growl. "Don't," I tried pleading, knowing full well it would be in vain. Then she began to bark. I would like to thank tonight's author or authors for allowing me to use their works. If you enjoyed this, the authors' links will be in the description below. Please check them out and let them know PA sent you. Also, if you like to walk around representing my realm and gaining new travelers, the links to my merch store, my website, and all my other social medias will be in the description below. As always, I'd like to say a special thank you to all my lovely Patreons. All of their names will appear on screen. I'll make sure to put all their links in the description below so you guys can check them out as well if you'd like.
But as always, travelers, once you step into my realm, there's no stepping out.